July 22nd, 2023. Durango Dank here. I'm actually a lot of meta tags, metaverses, avatars. But what I do is how this all started is I got an alert to index the Taylor Swift show in Denver. And so like when I do things, um, because what I do, it means something. Everything anybody does on Google or YouTube, it means something. But you have to pick your priorities. You have to pick your third parties very careful. You got to pick your social channels very carefully. With that said, I learned through these algorithms about Universal Music Group, and my ex drummer Steve Picorni worked for Universal Music as a producer. Worked with um, Richard Pryor, and on his last CD set, I think it was. Anyways, he passed away, leaving a 4-year-old son named Anthony, and it's been almost 10 years ago, I think. So my node connections, you look for node connections that's going to get you some authority in the rating of what it is you're talking about or what it is you're selling or offering. And there's only 3 hashtags. I didn't put any hashtags in some of the content that I do because the word hashtag. So you can actually use hashtag and then the word hashtag. But what this does is it tells you that when I looked up Taylor Swift, my lucky number is 13. 13 and number 69. My son was born in on the 13th, and I have 69 in my social security number. And when you think of the 1369 algorithms, I tend to lean toward companies of the 1369 algorithm. And most companies and other people don't even know what I'm talking about because this is metaverse talking, not Facebook metaverse stuff. This is front end development that we use people's voices as voice latent prints, and we embed them in object oriented programming in order for us to bring what we need. Or if people are using our content or saying they're going to save the manatees, and yet when you Google search his name or something, you see a lot of other people saving the manatees and the wordings and all that kind of stuff. If there's 100 people saving the manatees, there's only I'm sure a few ways to save the manatees, so their text is going to come out pretty much the same. I mean, manatee's a manatee. You can't just flip a giraffe in there. So there's not much you can talk about saving the manatee. Maybe you have different methods or what, but what we're doing is we realize by going to uh, Universal Music, which is they're out of 60 cities globally. They're not knitted in on a local bite like that they need to be fired. But, when they start to realize that when people send them information, or if you're on Google and somebody, wants to use your company and you just blow them off, that all means something. That's because if you're on Google, because everybody means something to somebody, and so you can voice what you feel, say what you want, and with us and with myself, I write content on what people have been saying to me for years, and so I can't mention people's names and all that, so I take the hit. And my job is to disrupt industries that leave not only a bad taste in people's mouth, but it goes against our whole constitutional values and our moral values and what made America America. With that said, we also have to respect the people globally on what they do and what they believe and la da 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 da. So, what I realized is the management company behind, I know I'm going all over the place, but follow me here. The management company for Taylor Swift is 13 Management. So when you go to the website of 13 Management, it just says 13 on it. I don't know if it says management or not. I didn't really pay attention. I don't need to do that. I can just see codes, and we're split seconding. I move so fast that Google's constantly wanting to know if I'm a computer, and I have to go and do these tests. So if you're getting that done, but when you're doing this type of work, you have to have a purpose. You have to have a plan. There's got to be a team. And so when I looked at 13 Management, though, Taylor Swift has got some opportunities to become a very powerful woman at her age. And most of the people in her group and all that can't really see the future because they don't need to, because of where they are now, but anything could happen. And so as you get older, you take on other responsibilities and other career choices that are more investment choices of opening up a sandwich shop, or opening up, being a Martha Stewart. Hey, Taylor Swift is going to make some cupcakes today. Woo. You know what I mean? But who she is and what she's done, nobody can devaluate her. She is the most wettest person that you can possibly be. She's making more money than some smaller countries' total gross domestic product. So when you're at that age and you're pulling in that kind of money, what happens is artificial intelligence says, okay, well, it can't be her. Who's behind? Who's the machine behind the artist? And so when I looked up 13 Management, I do things based off investments. So if their financial advisors came to me and say, hey, G, what does it look? Or AD, what does it look like for our future, for our stocks? And what do we need to do to change the conversation flow so that people are not only buying our stock, but it's moving so fast we got to split it, but yet we're making the dollars and we're communicating with our end users in order to bring up the profits that we're making. A lot of companies are hide behind their little communicate now, and it's that little box on the right. I know what they are, but you got to figure out what they are. Everybody has to figure out a lot of stuff on their own in order to be or have the knowledge of whatever it is you're talking about. So when politicians come out and they start talking blah blah blah, if they can't do what they said, or they went to a website from another city and they plagiarized it, and all of a sudden you see that guy's stuff, and sometimes that ain't the case. There's different variables, and this is where the analytics of that type of content, object-oriented images with voice latent prints, we can now pretty much tell what a group of people are expecting or what they're doing and what they're working on. And so with that said, and this is all new to me, to be able to do all this like this, because it's one of those things, you can believe what I tell you and you can believe what you see. And the good news is I'm just part of a team. And there's certain people, like with her, you can see her name is Priya Satiani. Oh, I hope I said that right. I wasn't going to say it, but you look at the woman. That's a goddess, I think. I looked it up, but I didn't have time because AI already told me that it was her avatar. And only she knows what that image is. I read what it was a little. I think it's a goddess of some sort, but I don't have to stay on things. It comes really fast. And so I can't click on it twice. It's just, can't do it. So when it comes, I can't even click on it once. It just comes through. I can't hit a back channel. It's already gone. But what this does is it tells you that in the mix of me going through I saw this woman's name. And I went to her wedding thing that she had for her pictures, and it was marvelous. It truly was. Then I was reading what she does in the background. Then it turned out to be 360 Entertainment. So when you think about 360 entertainment and you think about the 1369 or the 1369 algorithm, or backwards it's 9631, when you think about these different numbers and how they add up and what they equate to in regards to all of our metaverses, well, with 360, they have a full team of some remarkable talent. Very, very talented. So if I was head of their HR department and they said, "Hey, can you just do a quick SPAC on on everybody and just show us how we can do a digital scan of everything?" So I built it. So what I do is I build things that I know someone's going to ask me about, and then what we do is we send people emails. If they don't answer the email, what happens is most people go over. I read all the emails, and I get a lot of junk emails. But there might be that one email where it is the real business that you're looking for. And so a lot of people don't even look at their emails. So when you don't look at your emails and you don't respond to Google, if you have a Google listing, then you lose stuff quickly. Because there's a competitor doing what you're doing that would love to have that spot in your spot on the knowledge panel on the right hand side of the searches. So anyway, so when you think about 360 and you think about 13 management, there's their team is only for one artist. They don't have any other artist, or at least they don't talk about any other artist, and that's how you get information on people in regards to what they do. So it's perfectly okay for them to only be their only client is Taylor Swift. That way they don't have to worry about nothing, and that's good. But as far as growth for that management company doing the things that they do, they're limited because they only have one client, and they don't have. And if they have other clients, they're not shown on their profile as far as assets that digital assets. It's almost like having an asset to your house, apartments. If you own real estate, these are called digital assets. The domains or the registration of your URLs, those are all digital platforms. Those are your domains. Those are what you're building, whatever it is you're building, that you use meta tags based off your experience to be able to write meta descriptions so that you can have the authority and the ranking and the scores to be able to be on the organic searches. This is organic search. So what happens is once you develop some organic search in regards to what you're writing about, there'll be other companies that'll come in and use keywords on things they're trying to sell in regards to YouTube, handle, pretty much just YouTube. But handles everything. So you're looking on all the YouTube handles, you're looking for everything. So we only got 3 based off the title because we don't need a lot of pages to cloud up our servers. So this is smart, intelligent indexing, and when it shows you what's missing, what show results for hashtags, it'll take you to, when you click on that, it'll take you to another dimension of a deeper thought process in regards to the money that these people are making and the experiences that they have. Now, the one thing that's happening right now is that the literary needs to come in and bring in the movie industry into the metaverse in a proper way. That is what this whole thing is. And so I can create highly advanced algorithms that will give me a pretty good idea of what a group of people are talking about in the future, or what they expect in the future on what's going on now. So we use people's voices because we're all indexed now. Our voices are the new fingerprints and new latent prints, if you know what a fingerprint is. So we're a voice latent print, and then we also have the fingerprint we put on our phone, but our voice will pretty much tell us where we're at. Then we have the new DNA, digital DNA, which is our cell phone tower pings, our Google pings, and then by subpoenas you can get all that content on their emails, You can actually, in 2017, this law enforcement subpoenaed Google for the voice records of a certain person, and they found out that that person was using his voice to Google search stuff to kill his wife. Is that amazing? So when you back everything up, and we're talking, this is like the most boring job there. There's no glamour in what we do. We're like the Dewey Decibel Digital uh, developers. We have the authority to um, observe and index every title of everything, every subtitle. Like we look at the credits in the movie, that information on that page is the most valuable, believe it or not, the most valuable content of all content relating to that movie. Everything you need is all in those credits, all the people, everybody that was part of it. And see, if they knew how to bring all those people together under one label, under one, you start building these super um, blocks. And they're all connected by another super block of more people that are intelligence. See, one of the people in uh, Priya's company said that if you're if you're the smartest guy in the room, then you're in the wrong room. You know, and I would say to him, hey, if you're in the room with the smartest people in the room, are we in the right room? See, they would have to then say, yes, they are in the right room. We don't know who you are. We don't know anything about you. We don't even know what you're trying to do. And this is where the fine line comes in, to where people are paying attention, to where we're talking about indexing. We're talking about the Dewey Decibel. We're talking about the kings and queens of content. And everything, regardless of what anybody says, starts with a title and then a subtitle. So there's the same way you write and you structure is the same way you build your website in the world of true false algorithms. There's only a certain way you can write. And everybody can learn to do it, but most people don't, and they haven't, and so they won't. And what we do is we look for the best team. We do reversed HR hiring, human resources, on people that we need and is compatible with us. And so when the roadblock was that 13 management, they don't have any client roster. They don't have nothing. Where 360, and when you think about 360, you got 36. So they're the middle part of the 1369. So they're on that line of the 1369 and then 9631 algorithms. And every algorithm, when you think about 1369, that's every month. 1369. So when it goes to the 2, 21, 23, 26, 29, 31. It goes on forever, folks. And what happens is the people that have the literary experience to be able to put the teams together that is going to be needed to be able to get all your team members verified, get all your team members how to learn to be able to manage their own metaverses. Once they get that done, they'll be the most powerful 360. Because when you take 360 and you add the 3 and the 6, you get a 9. And so it says 9, but it's only one letter. So you got the 1369 algorithm in the two notes, or three numbers. Two numbers, I'm sorry. 36. So when their management and everything matches 36, they can never go over that. To be straight within the perimeters of their name. They can have other employees, but as far as management and partners, they can't go over 36. And so, which is great because they're pretty much don't need anything else now. They're just going to be able to do other things. So anyway, so this is what we're doing. It's kind of boring. It's all this and that, but when you look at this, there's not much more on this work to we own this Colorado politics for Denver Right News. And see, when you think politics, you're like, well, what do you mean politics? It's not politics like Republican and Democrats. We're non-political. We're non-religion, but you're allowed to do whatever it is. In other words, we only go with yes or no, true or false. That's it. No gray. So if you want to talk religion, you can. You want to battle religion, you can. We just work on yes or no. And we can develop and come up with different scenarios of what we think is going to happen to a certain group of people based off their actions, their social channels, and everything they do based just off their voices. Isn't that amazing? So if it's amazing. But as you scroll down, there it is. These are very valuable, especially to her. The wedding. This is where I clicked on that and went to the wedding. Beautiful. Beautiful. I got a picture where I think she has a sword and he's got his face covered. I don't know if he's crying or he's like, oh my God, what I get myself into? But you could see a lot of love. And that's what that whole scene is about. Like if you look at their team members, they got 33 team members. We already analyzed it. It'll cost them 50 grand to do what we did. We haven't even finished. We just did part of it. So if they tell us to go fly a kite, shit, we're flying. We've been flying kites for the last 12 years, folks. Digital kites with platforms that can move mountains. And what happens is when Google sends us people, like when we do a Google search, it'll send us the people that are claiming to be the best people, whether it's a lawyer or a doctor. And so when you reach out to them and you send an email and they tell you, oh, we're not taking on any new clients. Well, then why didn't you have that on your webpage? So you made me waste my time when you could have said, hey, we're not taking on new clients on that part where you're filling out the paperwork. So that's the part that we won't know. But now because they're lawyers and they did that, artificial intelligence will make a note on it. Have you ever heard of Black Sabbath? In 1992, Black Sabbath wrote a song with Ronnie James Dio singing, God rest his soul, he died in 2010. He was the front man. They had a song, they wrote an album called Dehumanizer. I was dehumanized back in 92. And that album saved me, believe it or not. It prepared me for things that I had no idea what was coming. And when you look at my life and the things I've done, my God, you're just like, wow. Everybody tells me, how did you do so many things? Kind of fucking old me. My job is to find people that are 30 something, because you have to be over 30. Because I hate when I say okay. So you have to Google index everything now, every 10 years. 18 to 28, 10 years. Because you can't really get indexed as a juvenile. That's why juveniles better not post these things they're posting. Because when the police figure out a way to do what we do, but they don't want to work with civilians that they feel may compromise whatever it is they're doing or trying to hide or what. So they wait for people within their own group to come in, which, you know what, when it comes to policemen, I'd have to go with the same thing, man, because they got every right to get home safe to their family, whether they're assholes or pigeons, man. They still have a right to get home to their family, because their family don't know what kind of police they are. So the only way you know what kind of police they are is by scanning all their handwritten police reports, because now we have machines that can read that stuff. And then there's key words that you have to kind of manually look for because of the way the words are structured. And so now this is backwards, forwards, sideways. There's hidden gems in this coding if you know how to read it, and I happen to know how to read it. And so when you teach the people that are the literary giants, because the literary kings and queens are the ones responsible for the films. The films in the industry of audio and visual, filmmakers are the number one. Believe it or not. Because they are everything. The administrators, the people that get the money, the people that all the way down to the grip, best boy, best girl, whatever. I don't know if they have a best girl, but I don't know what a best boy is, but he evidently a best boy. So whatever the best boy does, or the grip dude, remember, hey, yeah, he's a grip. Take some valerian root if you're that gripped out. No, we know what that stuff is. We're just trying to be dry humor here. But when you understand the power of the voice, when you understand those with authority taking on more responsibilities instead of hiring other people, the monies that are made can go to bonuses for people. And so the 360 organization is badass. And I think 360 and Universal are going to go boom, boom, man. They have to, because books, writers, all that stuff, it has to come together. So when you think about the Writers Guild, those are the people we need to put to work. And the thing is they cannot be biased anymore. It's yes or no, good, bad, or indifferent. If you're an indifferent writer, you just write about things that are indifferent. You don't give any opinion, no nothing. You're just writing a story of indifference. Then you have bad, where you go after people, you twist it, you make it so that it works against them, and you have good, where everybody shares the story and everybody's happy and kumbaya. And the inline for Google is that everybody made some money. Because if we're not making money, there's no reason to do this. So what I've been doing has been for 12 years. I'm just a team member. My job is to teach the older guys that when you're old, you're not dead. You're actually got more power than these up and coming people that are sweeping things away because they're up and coming and they know what to do. And so when you understand movies and books, publishing, and the art of being a literary genius, those are the bosses we need to make disinformationczar.us work. Social credit system scores and rankings.com work. When you got the brightest people in the room all brainstorming something new, that's what we need right now to create a new conversation flow. And right now, the main people that can really get something started is a woman. And they can't use it as a crutch. Oh, I'm the first woman that do this. We can't tell. The fact that you're there, it doesn't matter if there was 10 people before you or 10 people after you. Or 100 people before you that were all monkeys. And you were just the first woman to go to do that job. It doesn't matter to artificial intelligence. It doesn't matter about your sexual appetite. All of that stuff is just things that a person uses for who knows, but it's not logical thinking. It's not something that'll save us from whatever it is people want us to be force-fed. I don't care what anybody's sexual appetite is. I don't care what color they are. I mean, actually, I think that green chick in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I think she's hot, man. That green skin, she's a little hot. So that tells me that I must have been extraterrestrial. At some point in my life, I must have been a green person. But I don't really care about any of the colors, and we shouldn't either. We just need to worry about putting our women back in charge, because we need mom back. Even if you're not a mother, okay, you still can create life. So whatever's wrong or whatever anybody doesn't like, a woman's gotta have to come back and teach the girls to be girls and teach the boys to be boys. And those that are different and want to live their life the way they want to, go ahead. I'm happy for you. Live your normal life like everybody else. Keep your secrets to yourself. I don't want to hear them. And so, with that way of thinking, we all will get along better because we're all building based off yes or no, right or left, up or down. And we cannot let our adversaries who want to destroy us take advantage of us in the digital world. We need to create it now. And right now, there's only one woman. And so when I say this is because I went to other women, I've talked to other politicians, and they just blow me off. And yet, when you Google their shit, oh man, it just tells a different tale. But they don't know how to read that tale because their people are outdated. And so the administrators now have to become super administrators. They have to learn about DNS records. They have to learn how to do ICANN. They have to know where they would go to check out the validity of the website and all the records behind it. They have to know how to change it so that if they're the last person, the partner, I treat everything like we're on a digital submarine. And back in the day, everybody knew how to get that submarine back to the top. So if something happened, the submarine could get back to the top. Now they can do it all electronically and boom. But back in the day, they didn't have that stuff. So I don't know how far back, but I saw shows where these people drowned. Anyways, I'm hitting a lot of topics because when I talk like this, it helps define artificial intelligence in the direction that it needs to go. And because I've been doing this for so long, artificial intelligence loves the simpleton stuff about me and not afraid of being, letting my disabilities of being dyslexic and being chronic ADHD or ADHD chronic. And yeah, you could give me 100 handlers, and I'll keep them busy while they keep me busy. You could never give me enough handlers. And so I am, and what I believe literary agents and all alike, when they realize that they have to protect the titles, they have to protect the subtitles, they have to protect all the writers and all the people in the back end of the movies and all the music because they're all in the movies. So when you take care of the film industry first, and you incorporate the literary agents as top administrators because they know publishing, they know titles, they know. And so what we do is we use this information and we create content so that artificial intelligence will follow their voice flow, their action flow, so that it creates whatever it is they're trying to accomplish with whatever flow they're trying to develop. Uh, and so it's I can't even barely explain it, and I did it. So when people that are really smart that went to school that have all these years, and like this woman, um, Priya, she for her age, I mean, it's not bullshit nobody. When you look at what she's about, you look at her avatar, she knows what that is. I don't know. I just did a little whoop-de-woo to find her avatar. Because when as she gets older, she'll realize that having her picture out there and her kids' pictures out in the open, I hope she has all her social channels locked and have an avatar there because her people that go on there, they already know what she looks like, so she can put up that woman. Uh, and I call her a woman because it is a woman. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, look at this. Emergency. That came on when I was sitting there talking about that. And see, what that stuff is when you got stuff like that and you're working on it, that means you got to wake up. Why'd that happen? A lot of it's coincidence, and you can make things into anything, but coincidence is everything runs parallel to everything. What we can see and what we can't see. And some people say, well, the ones that see something that I can't see, you guys are insane and you belong in a sane asylum. Well, that's what people like us think when people can't see what we see. And and you can now take that information and put it right in front of you so you can see it. So I'm see that? Elevate 6 managers to partner. That was 3 days ago. So, well, that's what I did. And so a tagline, because we're compatible. I know the number system. I know the 1369, and they have six. They have 3 6 in their URL. You add the 3 and 6, that's 9. And how many numbers is 9? 1. So there's so many things, and then when you take the 1 because it's 1 and the 9, and you add that together, it comes to 1. Because at the end of the day, there's only one number. 1 is the loneliest number.